With the much-awaited Inside Out 2, Riley and her feelings will be back on the big screen 9 years after Pixar's Inside Out captured the hearts of fans worldwide. More exciting news, director Kelsey Mann teases a third installment that may include even more mind explorations. 2015's Inside Out tells the story through the anthropomorphized emotions of 11-year-old Riley. Riley's emotions all have distinct personalities, but they all work together to make Riley a well-rounded child. Riley's emotions are personified by the feelings of joy, sadness, anger, fear, and disgust, and they serve as her compass as she grows. In contrast, Riley's growth and development into puberty are followed in the sequel, which means that she will experience a greater range of emotions than in the first movie. Inside Out 2 picks up a year after the conclusion of the first movie, with Riley, now 13, having settled into San Francisco. Along with Bree and Grace, her two new best friends, she will be spending the summer together at a hockey camp. In the meantime, Riley's ideas have developed into fundamental beliefs as she has matured, such as "I'm a good person." Joy has been pushing Riley's negative memories to the back of Riley's mind, using a self-made device in order to aid in this process and preserve Riley's fundamental beliefs. Joy and the others are eventually introduced to the new emotions of anxiety, embarrassment, ennui, and envy when a red light on the main console eventually blinks and a puberty alarm emits. The new emotions initially admire the old ones, but it soon becomes apparent that the older emotions struggle to function in the increasingly complicated social contexts of young adulthood. Riley's trip to hockey camp is made more difficult by the ensuing struggle between her new emotions and her previous ones, which forces her to choose between impressing the high school athletes and maintaining her old friendships. Riley's emotions have learned to overcome their own shortcomings and foolish attempts at control by the movie's conclusion, setting up a charming message that expands on the themes of the first movie. Both films explore the spectrum of emotions that comprise a person and emphasize how these emotions must coexist in order for a person to be a fully developed person. The general arcs of joy and anxiety are similar in that they both learn to let go of their dominating mindsets and accept the other emotions for Riley's benefit. Joy learns to give anxiety her own space so she can stay calm but productive in Riley's mind, accepting and embracing all the emotions. This is a crucial part of the movie because it makes sure that despite their conflicts, all the emotions are not the real bad guys. Riley is able to own up to her mistakes and extend her apology by accepting all of the emotions as one, rather than continuing to hold on to her old beliefs. Riley can now at least unwind and find tranquility, reconnecting with her former friends while making sure she maintains her newfound friendships. Although achieving internal unity is difficult, it is vital and can support the development of a genuine sense of self. Inside Out 2 has a consistent storyline with its predecessor, which is a lovely theme to see celebrated to such a large extent. Additionally, this can go far beyond Inside Out 2. Comparing Inside Out 2 to the created lore set in the first Inside Out movie, it is clear that the entire premise of people developing more emotions is somewhat of a retcon. While it's true that Riley experienced sadness for the first time at one point in the movie,
sadness is in the house!
The fact we only saw the primary 5 emotions governing Riley's parents at the conclusion seemed to suggest that that was all there ever would be. Riley's parents are eventually revealed to have anxiety in Inside Out 2, so at least that inconsistency was attempted to be addressed. But does this imply that as Riley becomes an adult, and perhaps even more so as she becomes an elderly citizen, more feelings will be added? After the release of the second film, the Pixar franchise would benefit from utilizing Amy Poehler's brilliant idea for Inside Out sequels to make a third, fourth, and even fifth movie. The idea of Inside Out 2 could be applied to any time period marked by change. Even though puberty is one of the most turbulent stages of a person's life and thus a natural target for a sequel, everyone is experiencing these distinctly new emotions that are constantly surfacing, as Poehler put it. Poehler is right when she says that all of these turning points would make excellent character studies, and anyone who has experienced them will be able to enjoy a lighthearted and humorous take on the emotional difficulties. Riley's journey to college, her initiation into a family and career, and her aging would all be portrayed for viewers according to Poehler's plan. The introduction of a character, Nostalgia, a sluggish old woman, virtually confirms this possibility. In a recurring joke in the movie, she remembers things that happened only a few moments ago and is informed by the other emotions that she is is coming too early. This implies that as Riley gets older, she will eventually feel nostalgic. This strongly suggests that other emotions are also waiting to be introduced to her later in life, in addition to nostalgia. Given that Inside Out's conclusion was followed by credit scenes, it is not shocking that the sequel made the same choice. In the end, the after credits of Inside Out 2 feature a mix of humorous moments and a possible setup for Inside Out 3. Riley is shown speaking with her parents in the opening credits of Inside Out 2 after returning from camp. Anwi controls Riley's response when her mother wants to know about how camp went. She replies, "It was good." This results in a brief window into Riley's parents' thoughts and feelings, with anger taking over Riley's mother's thoughts following the succinct, vague response. The action then cuts to Riley's dad's inner monologue, and the mid-credits sequence features anxiety emerging from behind the control panel. This scene in Inside Out 2 serves as confirmation that Riley's dad experiences anxiety as well. Anxiety tells the other feelings, "She goes away for 3 days and all we get is good." The other emotions then realize that this seems normal and go back to reliving the game through memory. During the credit scene, none of Riley's parents exhibit feelings of envy, ennui, embarrassment, or nostalgia. Riley's dad's display of anxiety as a feeling makes room for both adults to experience all of the other emotions. Returning to the secret vault is an interesting choice for the credits in the meantime. The fact that deep dark secret is still there indicates that Riley may yet reveal more secrets in the later chapters. This could be anything from more ridiculous things like weeing in the pool to more important revelations like Riley's sexual orientation being non-binary or gay. It's one of the more widely accepted theories regarding Riley in the series, and if her coming out is part of the narrative, Inside Out 3 might revisit the secret vault. Anyway, the ending sequences of Inside Out 2 demonstrate that there is still a great deal to discover about this universe. Pixar did not need to set up Inside Out 3 specifically for these scenes. Rather, they serve as fun scenes to keep audiences interested and as extensions of the main plot for those who stay. Instead of outright hinting at Riley's next chapter in life, Inside Out 2 would be better served by leaving more of an open canvas for what might happen. Procrastination Land is another idea that the director intended to include in the sequel, but it appears that we only see it in the following film. The concept is more of a joke because it was constantly under construction. You may be wondering why Procrastination Land was left out of Inside Out 2, particularly given that it appears to be a minor joke that would have been a perfect fit for the narrative to provide a brief smile. However, Mann clarified that he didn't want to appear forced or like it didn't fit in naturally. We can wait patiently while Pixar determines exactly where Procrastination Land belongs, as there will undoubtedly be plenty more satisfying jokes in Inside Out 2. Riley won't actually start procrastinating until she is farther along her high school career, so it might be best to wait until she's 16 or so. By then, a lot more emotions will have entered the mix, perhaps even ones that were left out from this sequel. Maybe shame? If shame had existed, it would probably have been far less compassionate and redemptive than anxiety did. Who would have taken on the role of shame? From what little we know of her, she would seem to be silent, cunning, and probably younger to blend in with the other new feelings. To be honest, it seems like Aubrey Plaza was meant for the role. Hopefully she'll appear in Inside Out 3. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.